So this part, we can see this part is ventricle proper. And the part of the outflow tract is known as infundibulum. So this is also known as infundibulum, and this inflow tract or inflow part of right ventricle is also known as the ventricle proper. The ventricle means the hollow belly. So it is a hollow belly receiving blood from the right atrium and pumping the blood to the pulmonary trunk, and finally this blood is reaching to right and left lungs for the oxygenation. So this part is rough part of the right ventricle, and this part is the smooth part of the right ventricle. So here we can see the smooth part, and this part is the rough part. This is the ventricle proper, and here we can see the infundibulum or the outflow tract or the outflow part of the right ventricle. This part is having the tricuspid orifice. The tricuspid orifice is opening between the right atrium and the right ventricle, and this opening is forming an angle with the sagittal plane, 45-degree angle. So this is the sagittal plane, and this is the direction of the tricuspid orifice, facing forward, left and downwards like this, and forming an angle with the sagittal plane. So this is the direction of the tricuspid orifice. The tricuspid orifice is having three cusps: anterior, the posterior and the septal. So it is known as tricuspid valve. The valve is having three cusps or leaflets. The tricuspid valve, it is not simply a valve, but it is a valve complex having the tricuspid orifice. It is having the tricuspid orifice. It is having an opening, circular or oval, according to the phase of cardiac cycle. So the shape of this tricuspid orifice changes according to the phase of the cardiac cycle. It may be circular, it may be oval. This cardiac orifice is succeeded by a collagenous fibrous ring. So this is opening known as tricuspid orifice. It is succeeded by a fibrous ring known as tricuspid annulus or annuli tricuspid. So here we can see the tricuspid orifice. It is succeeded by the annulus tricuspid or tricuspid annuli, and this tricuspid annuli is having three cusps or three leaflets. We can see here more clearly. So it is having three cusps or three leaflets, almost triangular in shape, and having indentation on their free margins known as commissure. These indentations approximate the free border of the cusp with the other one and forming the anteroseptal, the posteroseptal and the anteroposterior commissure. When this tricuspid valve is closed, these all will come in approximation with each other and these will form a structure like this. Here we can see more clearly. This is the tricuspid orifice. Orifice is simply an opening. This opening is having, or it is succeeded by, a collagenous fibrous ring. This ring is known as tricuspid annuli or annulus tricuspid, and it is having two rings. The annulus tricuspid is having two rings, one is anteriorly and other is posteriorly. So, anterior one or the anterior ring and posterior ring are known as fila coronaria. So, one ring is in approximation with the other ring like this. So, this is known as anterior and this is known as posterior fila coronaria. So, rings are formed by the fila coronaria, and the two layers of the fila coronaria, the anterior one and the posterior one, these are holding the base of the leaflet or cusp. So, we can see here, this is the anterior cusp and this is the posterior cusp and this is the base of the valve, the tricuspid leaflet or tricuspid cusp. So, this is one out of three cusp of the tricuspid valve. So, anterior and the posterior layers of the fila coronaria, the parts of the annulus tricuspid are holding the base of the cusp or leaflet like this. So, one is here, other is here and third one is here and forming a tricuspid valve. The cusp or valves are the reduplication. These are formed by reduplication of the endocardium. The one layer of endocardium is reduplicating on the other one like this, and these are having some fibers and some muscle fibers and some collagen fibers. These are known as lamina fibrosa. So, here we can see in more detail, this is the part of the one fila coronaria and this is the part of the other fila coronaria. And this is the cusp or the part of the cusp or simply the base of the leaflet or cusp. So, the base of the cusp is held by the anterior and the posterior layer of the fila coronaria. The fibers of the cusp which are held by the two layers of fila coronaria are known as lamina fibrosa. So, these are known as the lamina fibrosa. The bases of all three cusps are in continuation with each other and forming a curtain like structure. Here I will draw the tricuspid annuli. This is the one layer and this is the other layer. And this is the one leaflet or one cusp. So the fibers of the cusp or lamina fibrosa are held by the two layers of the annulus tricuspid or tricuspid annuli. The bases, this is the base, this is the middle part, and this is the apex of the cusp. So bases of the all three cusps are in continuation with each other and forming a curtain like structure. The free margin of the cusp are turned inside the ventricle, and there are some tendinous fibers known as chorda tendini prevents the backward turn of the cusps or leaflets during the systole. So here we can see there are attachment of some fibers. A cusp is having three parts. The cusp is formed by three parts. This is a cusp. It is having three parts. This part is known as basal part. This part is known as the rough zone, and this part, middle part, is known as the clear zone. So when we see the inferior surface of a cusp or leaflet, we will see the basal part, the intermediate zone or also known as clear zone, and the apical zone of the cusp is known as rough zone. So these are held by some cord like structures. These cords are connected to the wall of the ventricle or some muscle fibers known as papillary muscles. So these are the chorda tendini. The chorda tendini are holding the cusp and preventing the turning of the cusps or leaflets into the atrium during systole. So these are holding the cusp like parachute. So there is parachute like action of these cusps. The clear zone of a cusp or leaflet is not having the attachment of the chorda tendini. The chorda tendini may be false chorda or the true chorda tendini. The four false chorda tendini are having almost no attachment on the cusps. These are free, attached on the internal surface of the ventricle on one side, and other is free. So it is not having importance for clinician. The chorda tendini used for clinicians, the primary knowledge of the chorda tendini, which is having great importance for clinician, is true chorda tendini. The true chorda tendini are the collagen fibers encysted by the endocardium or simply the endothelial layer. One end of this chorda is attached on the wall internal wall of the ventricle, or some triangular groups of muscles known as papillary muscles. So the right ventricle is having three groups of papillary muscles: anterior, posterior and septal. This triangular group of muscles is known as papillary muscles, and the terminal 1/3 of this papillary muscle is having attachment for the free edges of the cusp. So simply, this collection of muscles or triangular collection of muscles is known as papillary muscles, and this papillary muscles, the apical part of muscle, is giving attachment to the true chorda, which are attached to the inferior or lateral surface or free margin of the cusp. So this muscle is known as papillary muscle. These tendons are known as chorda tendini, and this part is known as the cusp. So simply, the triangular wall complex is having the orifice, the annulus, the fila coronaria, three cusps or three leaflets, the chorda tendini and the papillary muscles. Besides these all structures which are included in the tricuspid valve complex, the inflow tract of the right atrium is also having